It's the Cooler We Joe. That's yes.
And that's Sasha.
We are live on Adobe Radio. Back home where we belong on Adobe Radio, our favorite place to be. It is Monday night, and that is where the nerds are every Monday night. Every Monday night, save for a few. We can probably count on one hand. We'll tell you why we weren't here last week. But first, I got to tell you to follow me. Follow us. I'm like in radio mode right now. Follow us on Twitter at Cool Nerd Weed. Follow us everywhere else, Cool Nerd Weed Show. That's where we are, in the world. You just Google Cool Nerd Weed Show. You'll find something that is us. Something. YouTube, our Adobe page, which is always the link to go to. We have a Spotify. We have a SoundCloud. We have a podcast page on the iTunes. We have a YouTube.
We are everywhere. We have a weed tube.
We have a weed tube, which is like pretty active, I feel like.
It is, yeah. There's a lot of people on weed tube. So watch us.
Just do it. We're very entertaining. And
True story.
It's true. And we have fun. It's the best part of our week. And I say that all the time. But it makes us really happy. And we've been doing it now. It's next month. We started in June. It was right around my birthday, I remember.
Yes.
5 years? No. 4 years.
4 years? Wait. 2000.
We can find out.
2017.
17.
Yeah.
What is that?
That's
4 years. 5 years.
That's it's 2022. 22. So that is 5 years.
Wow.
Almost 5 years.
Wowzers. The nerds are 5 years old. We'll have to do a big ass show. We've done nothing to prepare for this. We're so bad at this. You'd think by 5 years we would be just predicting shit from months out, but we should. Oh my god, I leaked everywhere.
We'll have everybody from Adobe on.
Fuck yeah, we have to have a huge party.
Extravaganza.
All of our Adobe friends. Yeah, I'll have to email the powers that beesies and ask them if we can do a party, a Cool Nerd Weed party. We should do it at the Adobe Studios 100%, all the way times infinity. And, just have everybody in, take over the lounge like we do.
It's back in action now. It's good to see that there's
people there. Every time we go, it's
Adobe.
so nice to see there are people in the park, there are cars in the parking lot. We see all our friends when we go in, and we fucking love the Adobe family more than anything in the world. So somebody remind us that we had this conversation. Because sometimes people will text me and be like, yeah, on the show, remember when you said that thing? And I'm like, no. I do not remember that.
We need some friendly reminders.
We do, because not only are we stoners, we're also, we're a little old. Also, I never had a good memory to begin with. Did you?
My memory is sharp.
You had a good memory when you were young?
No, I have a great memory.
No, I just mean when you've always had a good memory even when you were young?
I think so.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not. I think I had ADD.
There's some details that are fuzzy.
No. I mean, do you, when you were young...
like playing the memory game?
Yeah, if you,
when you flip over the card and you find the guy with the mustache.
Yeah, or you learned something in school and you took a test. Did you have a good retention memory? Short term? I never did, ever.
I think I did. I think so.
You did? You were one of those people that I hated because there would be people that are I have a photographic memory and I can remember it. And I'm like, fuck that. I can't even remember what you just said.
I would just scan over my notes
the
day before and be like,
fuck
just
yourself.
Look at everything.
Eat a dick.
And it's all up here in the old noggin.
Go F.
Although, I don't know how the brain works.
I was not able to do that. I didn't smoke weed when I was a kid. I didn't smoke weed until I was 21. No, you didn't. You never did. We always talk about that. We were both very late bloomers when it came to the Mary Janes. The Mary Janes, that's what we say now. We did. We were. So I can blame it on that when I was in my teens, and for realsies, it was so bad. And I would I needed glasses and I never wore them because they were stupid and nerdy. And and now they're the coolest.
Glasses, yeah.
But I never wanted to wear them. I was super embarrassed. Everybody had perfect vision except for me in the whole world. And so I never got my notes the right way. So I'd always have to sit in the front. And then when I did get my notes, I just straight up couldn't. I wonder how much is like due to something else. Like maybe because I couldn't see, like my brain just was like, you don't need to learn shit. Like you don't need to remember anything.
You know, yeah.
Because I couldn't remember. I was horrible at taking tests. I was horrible at like, I was good at writing. Like I'm a really great writer. I'm good at like certain things. Like, you know, I was in the honors classes, but I just couldn't remember. Like the example I always give is like as a server. Like when I watch people just like when I give people my order and they're just like, oh yeah, yeah, and then they repeat it and then they like go put it in. Like no way, no how. I had to write it down after I had to write it in words that I understood. Because
now, well, like today or right now, like I have to do the same thing. If when I'm at work, I carry a notepad because as soon as I'm given an order,
that might be the weed. Then if you had a good short-term memory when you were young,
I thought I did, but I need to write down everything.
If you had a good short-term memory when you were young, that might be weed.
Induced?
It's not to talk shit on weed. It's not what we do here. But we are honest about weed. That is what we do here. So
it's not my possible multiple concussions.
Oh, well, we'll get into that. It could be that. But also, isn't there studies that show that weed messes with your short-term memory loss? Isn't that true?
Well, that was always on the.
That was always said. I mean, it was always on Reefer Madness, but I
don't know. There might be some science.
I thought there was a science thing that said like the cells that you need to retain memory in your brains that you take supplements for. You know, they make supplements for them now. Weed kind of is just like we don't need you.
I think I balance it out with a lot of fish oil.
That's good to do. Olive leaf. Maybe I'm perpetuating a lie, but yeah, I don't remember shit. I don't remember like the train of my thought as it's coming out of my mouth. So I don't know if weed has made it worse. But at least like I'm not like upset about it when it happens because I smoked weed. So I can't even get upset because I don't care if my memory is bad or not because I'm high.
This weed is delicious.
Yeah, I kept calling it garlic butter. It's umami butter.
Umami butter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's 35% and 37.
37 total, and it's a 1.69% terps.
Yeah, that's a lot, right? Well,
yeah.
3% is.
We've seen 3 so far, but over 1% is I would say is respectable.
For sure. I mean,
it is tasty.
It's good to put that stuff on your labels. Oh, it is tasty. It's very savory. Excuse me, I'm coughing right into my. It's very like savory. It does have like an umami flavor.
It does.
It's buttery.
Maven's doing all of its own genetics right now.
Yeah, I don't even know.
I've never seen that before.
Never seen that before. Maven does produce good indicas. Yes, Maven. They've been around plugging away. And
it comes with a chart that I left at home.
This is probably my favorite Maven strain.
You're
gonna ask me.
This is one of the better ones. I thought they were falling off for a minute, but I
wasn't usually a fan of Maven to be BH. I'm gonna BH.
I'm back. They got me back really with good. The umami butter for sure.
I'm down.
Thanks,
Maven.
I'm willing to try some of their.
That was a birthday gift from our good bestest friend Val.
Oh, thank you, Val.
Our sweet Val, who we love the mostest. We have to get her on the show. She's the fucking best. But she got you that for your birthday, which was just this past weekend. Happy belated.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Happy belated to 21-year-old TS, just fresh-faced and ready to take on LA.
That's right.
Brave.
I got you. Bring it on, LA.
So for your birthday, you got into a car accident.
Yes.
To celebrate your longevity, just to test life.
See how many lives I actually have, and test out the old bones and the old peanut.
So last week we were not here because young TS before his birthday got into a not a fender bender. What would you call that? A wreck?
Yeah, I
guess it was a wreck.
I went down on my Vespa.
Oh, your Vespa was wrecked. Okay, so I live with my husband, and sometimes TS, and my husband had gone to Vegas randomly in the middle of the week last week, and so I was alone for the first time in like my new house. I just moved to this like bomb ass house, and our studio, you can see it on YouTube. It's a really great place. So I got fucking stoned off of every ass that has ever been. I got so stoned the night before because I was like stoked. I was like fucking risky business around the house, like sliding around in my undies with my dogs. So I ate all the edibles. I smoked all the joints, and I got into a slumber. And
yeah, I was surprised I didn't hear from you.
You did not
in the early,
and you usually
early
do.
Hours of
and I usually don't. I usually don't sleep. So I was just like, fuck it, like because I have my shit on Do Not Disturb. But I'm pretty sure you're one of the people who I have it not for. Like you come through. I just have it for like. Yeah. I don't know, anybody else, like scammers or something, because nobody else talks to me other than you and my family. And Chris, too. So I actually
Who else could possibly be calling?
I actually might have had it turned off because I was just like, let me not even risk it. Because sometimes it'll like not notify you. I don't know. It's weird. Apple's weird sometimes. And I was worried because Chris wasn't home. So I actually kept the Do Not Disturb off. And then in the morning, it was like what, like 8:30-ish, because you were on your way to work. I started, or 8-ish. I started getting like texts, which is usually when my mom texts me and my sister. So it'll like wake me up. But like I was like, no, I'm going to sleep later today. And like I turned around. And then Rudy, my dog, who has replaced me on the show, if you go to our Instagram, you can see, he heard me turn around. So he got like stoked and kind of like walked to my bed. And I just so happened to like look at my phone. I saw like 6 messages from you. And you never text me that many messages in the morning unless it's your butt. Like you never, you never do. So I called you back and...
Oh, I was on my way to work on my Vespa when somebody...
Sober, by the way, I just want to note that.
Absolutely sober. It was the fucking morning.
It's and it's never too early, but when you're driving and you're in LA and you fucking want to be sober.
I'm actually not allowed to indulge at work.
Indeed, you did tell me that. Yeah.
Or before and during work.
And you know
hours.
what? Like that used to confuse me at a dispensary because I worked for one that started to enforce that rule. But now, like, I'm not mad. You have to be on your. You really do have to be on your feet,
on your game, and
especially in Hollywood.
More on that later.
Yes, we will be talking about employers and weed, so you're going to want to listen. This whole fucking show is going to be really good. Okay. So, thank you for teasing. You're so good at radio. You're such a broadcaster.
I'm on my way to work and speeding along, having a beautiful day.
Beautiful morning. Yeah.
And out of nowhere, bum, 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 this older person looked right at me and gassed it right in front of my oncoming scooter.
So you're driving and she's peeking out probably in a garage somewhere.
Out a garage, a parking garage.
And she probably sees you and thinks you're going to stop. So, or doesn't see you at all. And
I have a bright orange fucking helmet.
I mean, listen, I've been on the scoots with you. Like, you're a little daredevil, but you're not careful. You fucking see. I've never said like, yeah, you gotta remember. Like you drive around these streets and you've been doing this for like longer than most people have been alive. Sorry, but I was saying that for emphasis, for point. So you see this lady and you got nothing to do, but you have to skid, right? You have to stop. I
had to try to stop because she was right in front of me. And I came to a screeching halt when I went down and slid into her front bumper.
Damn.
And there was virtually no damage to their car, but my scooter was completely totaled.
Which like makes me think, because Fiats, Italian made things, vehicles. I had a Fiat, and Vespas are, of course, of the Italy variety. Yes. And I mean, you go to Italy and like it's just a Vespa. Nobody drives cars, so they are meant to take the impact of the crash. You know, a lot of cars. Some big cars don't do what the little Italian cars do. It's crazy. Like the amount of impact that if you were not in that, if you were just driving like a shit car or you were not driving a Vespa, I do think you'd be very, very worse off in your body.
The Italian scooters are made with a monobody construction, like a Volvo.
Yes.
So and a lot of others are not. So it's solid too. Also, was made for the streets of Italy. I don't know if anybody's ever been to Rome.
Yeah, it's a bumpy ride.
Driven on cobblestone.
Yeah, it's a bumpy ride, and cars just it's just not efficient to ride in cars when you're in Italy. But there does come a certain amount of like cars on the road don't really know the sort of like. Because it's not,
they don't know how fast you're going. That's what a lot of that's a good point. 4-wheel drivers tell me that they
2 wheels good, 4 wheels bad.
That they don't see you.
100%.
Obviously,
I've said that to you.
She didn't see me.
Right. Here's hoping that she didn't see you and still pull out. Again, it's so easy. It's so easy out here to just. Vespas are just little tiny specks on the radar. It's so hard to drive out here. It is so hard to drive out here. No matter who you are, how long you've been driving, what you're driving, it's a fucking nightmare. I mean, but this is like, and you said it happened like right in front of a film crew.
Oh yeah. like all the grips came running over because a lot of those dudes ride.
Oh
they're always like the gnarliest dudes on the crew, or the
they always look like
are the grips. They all look like me.
They all like use carabiners for like everything.
Totally. So one dude like picked up my scooter and brought it over put it on the sidewalk.
Oh, that's so cool.
It was leaking oil, and then
cool,
another dude helped me locate my phone.
Right.
Which was like 25 feet away.
Flew out of your pocket.
You
felt your head shake in
I had my full face helmet on, which helped.
Thank God.
Because
my God.
I don't know why anybody would ride without a full face helmet, because whenever you fall on your fucking face.
Of course. It's like your center of like gravity and shit. Like it's like the way people roll around. It's so important to wear a full face helmet and a good legal approved. Not some fashionable shit.
No, not the speed racer
helmet. You'll get in big old
it.
trouble too if you don't have a right helmet out here on your right. In New York, you get in big trouble.
Well, I mean, there's definitely a helmet law, but like, let's say I had a fake helmet on.
Violation
if I had a fake helmet on with like a fake sticker,
which
are available.
We've seen that. We saw it on like Melrose. We were like, "What are you doing?"
Oh yeah, they like it's you need to wear a helmet.
So you get into this wreck and you call me while you're waiting to go to the hospital.
The paramedics show up.
You talked to the paramedics. You said you couldn't remember how old you were.
When I was on with 911, they asked me how old I was, and
didn't you say like? This made me laugh.
I was like 38.
I was like, of course you said you were 38. And I was like, tell him you're 21.
And then I was like, no, I'm not. But it was like I was struggling to think about how old I was.
Dazed.
I was like,
you were out of
I was
it.
dazed for sure.
Then I woke up. My eyes. Chris was FaceTiming me for some reason, and I think like between Chris FaceTiming me, the dog's like freaking out, and then me seeing your text messages like super still high from the night before, everything started to like merge into like one, and I was like, oh shit. And like so I called you back, and you sounded shaken for sure. It was not cool, and it was not fun. You went to the hospital, got looked at.
They looked at me.
Thank God.
Some x-rays.
You had some scratches. You were roughed up pretty bad.
Oh yeah. I was, the whole left side of my body I hit pretty hard, and still I'm feeling better, but it was pretty.
It was really bad. No,
up.
It was like, it was not. I didn't want you to stay at your house by yourself. Like I was like, you come stay with me, because I don't know. I wasn't comfortable with you being alone at that moment.
I came over. I was in rough shape, and I could barely get up and down the stairs.
Yeah. It was really bad.
But we ordered some edibles.
We did.
We ordered lots of things.
We did. We were like, you were like, you want to get some edibles? I was like, oh my God, I didn't even think of that. I was like, you're brilliant. Yeah, we ordered some edibles. We got in on that. Like, you took a few more days off because you needed it, and then you had to go back to work. So, what was your combination? Because, at the hospital, they're not giving you opioids, like, thank God. They gave you some
not anymore.
That's fine. That's fine. You got some muscle relaxers, you got some, or whatever.
I was totally okay with not getting any opioids.
No, you were in pain for sure.
I was
you
in a lot of pain. I probably could have
something
used something.
like just maybe a Valium, but like,
they gave me ibuprofen,
right,
a muscle relaxer.
And honestly, like
hardly
I'm fine
any
with
muscle relaxers.
And,
like barely any.
That's that's good, because as you were healing. That's why, it's interesting. So the reason why we're talking about this for so long is because go ahead.
And they gave me a bag of Band-Aids and some Neosporin.
It was fucking weird. They in a biohazard bag. They were like, "Ain't on your way, sir." They gave you
and if you
some Q-tips and stuff and tape. And
if you have any more pain, just give us a call. I'm like,
it was crazy.
What about no follow up?
Yeah.
What about my brain?
No, they were just like, get out of here. We have to deal with COVID.
I said, what about my head? And they said, well, don't watch any complicated TV shows or movies with complicated plots tonight.
No, they didn't.
Yes, they did.
Okay, so the way the hospital treated you is a whole other day. We don't have enough time in the fucking night. I was like an Italian mother when you were like, I'm taking a lift. I was like, whoa. And you're like, no, it's going to, they can't take me to my hospital. They would take me to Cedars. I was like, whoa. And then you got to your hospital and they were not good with you. You needed to ask for a wheelchair. Didn't even get it. We don't have to go into it. I just was so mad at the fucking health system. But you know what? You got your care.
Yes.
You were, thank God you're like a fucking tough meatball person. So you just bounced around and were shaken up. You did not break anything, thank God. You did not have severe brain trauma, thank God. So what I wanted to get to eventually was what your combination of things was once you started to really feel the pain, when...
Oh, after the adrenaline wore off.
Yeah, even after that, 3 or 4 days when the muscle relaxers really kind of aren't cutting the mustards anymore. So you're onto your weed treatment, basically is what I'm asking. We put some CBDs on you. We rubbed you down with some CBDs.
Oh, yeah. We had some pop in Barkley, but you know what has really been helping me out?
Yeah.
Is the Proof RSO.
Oh, that's great.
The CBD and I got the Indica. They call it full spectrum oil these days.
I might have to get some of that.
But traditionally it's RSO.
Yes, they call it FSO now.
It is. It's basically crude cannabis oil. It's all the cannabinoids.
And to be upfront about it, the Indica, if it's not full, more CBD, it's very, very strong.
Very, very potent.
I used a gram a day to get off of Paxil. It was rough, but in a good way. I would have rather done that than used another pill to get off of Paxil. You used RSO to basically keep you off of serious pain meds, because even though you didn't, sometimes when you don't break something, it's even worse. You just, all of your body, it's severe trauma. And you're such a fucking tourist too. You didn't treat it like severe trauma. You're up and around, talking about getting another fucking scooter.
Yeah, I was looking at scooters that night. Online.
But once it settles in, you're in pain, even you can't escape being in pain. You were at work and you were feeling it. So instead of calling the hospital and trying to, people sometimes are in so much pain they have to force medical emergencies so that they'll be hooked up to something so that they can get painkillers, which is, part of a very, very big problem and not enough of a solution to another very, very big problem. So instead of doing that, instead of going to the hospital again or calling your doctor who was no help, or the hospital was no help anyway, you turn to cannabis.
Absolutely. I knew cannabis works. I was using the
article that I forgot about.
The RSO regimen.
Yes.
Both the Indica.
So how much did you take?
I've been each one is 1 gram, but I'm taking only
You're not taking it gram.
No. I'm only taking a couple, an ml, one or two mls at a time.
Putting it on
or
anything?
One or 2 points. Sometimes I put it on a little piece of fruit, depending on what I'm eating. I like to put it on a little banana, or I'll put it on a walnut. I've been getting a lot of fruit and stuff from
Nice.
the farmer's market.
I used to
so
put
I'll
it
just
on candy. I used to put it on like Starburst.
and I don't mind the taste. I know a lot of people don't like the taste of cannabis. I enjoy it, but
I do too.
But it is sticky.
It is a little sticky, and it's also got like a sterile feel to it. RSO a little bit, like it numbs your tongue a little bit.
For sure.
It's
like
for some
little,
people,
like,
but
antiseptic kind of quality to it.
But also people do recommend like putting it on your skin as well. Like if you are using it like for cancer treatment or like for whatever, like a lot of people will suggest that for very strong RSO because it's very strong. But you needed it to be that strong because you needed it, the CBD, the entourage effect, like completely healed you. Or helped you heal rather. It didn't heal you, but it helped you heal. Right.
Well, yeah. Once my muscle relaxers ran out on like day 3, and then I couldn't sleep at night.
Right.
So
just that's sheer pain. That's body trauma. That's brain trauma. Like emotional trauma.
Everything.
You know what I mean? Like you're going through PTSD as well. Like even if you don't want to admit it or you don't realize that you are and you were. And I think I think that combination of that and like doctors monitoring, like you going to physical therapy. I'm not saying like go treat yourself all the time with cannabis. Please have a doctor monitor you. But this Guardian article that I completely forgot about. The whole reason why we started talking about this too is in London. At a pain clinic, they just started, and I didn't really know this, but they just started to use cannabis as medicine for painkillers over opiate painkillers because the opiate crisis is crazy everywhere in the world. She was taking this woman who's 39, who's from Bristol. She has psoriatic arthritis and fibromyalgia. And she was taking like 40 pills a day, and she was not happy with it. So she went to a part of this. It's a strict trial, but she went through with it, and she's like, holy shit, like this is completely. Oh, sorry, this has completely changed my whole life. So it is something to keep thinking about and keep remembering that we have direct proof from our own traumas, and also. We have international proof now that it works in the right way.
It does work. It will when you start taking RSO. If you start ever try it, it's very, very heavy.
RSO is very heavy.
You do need to start slow.
Right. And you may not feel, and I always want to tell people this who have not had great reactions with weed. It may not work the first time. You know what I mean? You may just feel a little high. True. You may just feel a little not yourself. Then you'll just notice you're not feeling pain, and that'll make you feel like you're high too. I know people with fibromyalgia where weed is not for them. So they use other traditional things. But more often than not, especially things like fibromyalgia and pain and muscle pain and body pain, it helps you sleep at least. I was taking extra doses at night to help me sleep. And then I was in a lot of pain during the day. So I was taking probably more than I should have. Never.
And never. I mean, it's not like you're going to overdose, but I felt really good, but I was drowsy.
Yes.
At the same time, like
I was
RSO drowsy, but at the same time, they told me not to drive with the muscle relaxers or do anything like that, because the same thing, they were making me drowsy.
That's what, that's kind of like
so
painkillers, like, I guess they block like the pain or whatever, but like a lot of times they just like turn up the other things that need turning up, like caffeine like speeds up your heart rate. It doesn't actually make you more awake or whatever it is, It's like a lot of times painkillers do, they just make you tired, like a muscle relaxer will just like make you tired, and they won't anti-inflame your muscles sometimes. But in weed's case, there's like actual medical benefits, and, because it is anti-inflammatory, and you were probably helping some parts of your body, if not just, your well-being by getting some sleep, and it helped you sleep, so don't be afraid of weed is what we're saying. If you are SOL on your painkillers, and I have personally curated ex-opiate addicts onto weed. So people from back home, you have too.
Yes, yeah. We try whenever possible.
Yes, we do. We will do anything. I will do anything to get you your weed, to get you healthy with weed. That's just that's all we strive for.
Absolutely.
So we're very much walking examples. We're very happy that TS is okay. He's on his way to being even better than okay, because like you're getting tuned up. So that is. We're very grateful for that on the Cool Nerd Weed Show.
And I'd like to thank my people at the greenhouse for helping me out and hooking me up with some edibles to help me make it through my pain in difficult times.
That's what they came through. They came through from the very beginning. They were understanding. They know what it's like. They're a good place. They're a good place. They're a good place to be with good people in it. And the Monfet Rehab Center.
Oh, yeah, so the Monfet Rehab Center is a five-star accommodation. If I could give a 6 star, I would.
Yes, we all help each other in this community. It's just what we fucking do, and that's it. So we're going to take a break, and we're going to come back, and we're going to talk about, this is interesting. We're going to talk about like your rights that you have as like an employee, and what they're starting to talk about, and what we've seen so far. We'll be right back.
It's the Cool Nerd Weed Show with TS and Sasha. Don't panic. It's organic.
Yes, indeed. We were just talking about smoking weed at work. Back in the day when it was a thing we were able to do was medicate on, not on site, but, medicate. What am I talking about? We literally, I'm talking about it like we still work there, and I'm like, I don't get in trouble. But no, it was open. We were supposed to medicate on site to try the weed. And I was getting off Paxil, and I was taking RSO. We've been talking about RSO all show. And I took... I had to. I was in a lot of pain, and I was so high. Do not recommend. Well, I was just high, and I was closing, and you closed. This was early, pre-nerds, pre-besties, almost roomies, and you were not as high as I was. And I was supposed to like cash out. I was supposed to like count the register. Oh my God, I don't even know what I did, dude. I fucked it up. I fucked it up so bad. Like, I miscounted for sure. I know I was doing it for like hours. Like, I was like I was counting for hours, and you just like stormed into the office, and you were like, "What are you doing?" You were so annoyed with me. And I was like, "I'm sorry. I'm very high." And I kind of just ran away. I don't even think like I took any responsibility for it. I was like, "You figure it out. I gotta go."
You can tell when somebody's like counting like the same pile of singles like over and over, or like putting them in piles of 7.
That's what I did.
That's what I did. Oh, you're like putting them in piles of like 10s. You're like,
it made no sense. So I think I moved on to tips, which was even worse because now I'm talking fractions.
Now you got to divide by like 18.
Called it a day and like went up to the front and waited for the day to end. But that was back in the day when we could, consume on site, and we actually did have that right to do that at the time.
It was all medical.
It was all medical. It was all legal, Prop D legal, and so it goes. So things change. Regulation comes into our lives, and we can't consume on site anymore. And most jobs are like that. We were lucky to work in the industry during a time that we were allowed to consume on site. Now, if you work for a company that is not a dispensary, it's likely that there is a drug policy in place. And I'm assuming that's why we did it too. They wanted to be like everybody else, so let's enact a drug policy. So you're just using like NBC. I think when Chris started to work there, it was like basically you have to take a drug test when you first start, and then like what you do is like not our problem. We just made sure you're.
They covered
the entry. And then but they also have like a we will not tolerate drug use in the workplace. All sorts of like things happen at the workplace when it comes to drugs, and weed is still considered a Schedule 1 drug, so you probably have a policy in some places. However, what you do off work
should be
and shouldn't matter. It should be protected.
Your own business,
because it's your privacy. We shouldn't even get into privacy. P.S. abortion. I just had to say it. I just had to say it because it's been a really rough couple weeks and week, and I have a tummy ache, and your right to privacy, your right to fucking choose is very important. Please do all the things, vote, march. I'm like gonna fucking throw my bra at every guy that I see. This is very important, and your rights and your privacy and everything that is yours is fucking yours. I had to say that. So,
know your rights. And you
know
may have
your
to stand up.
fucking rights.
You may have to stand up for your rights.
And
from
it's going to be
time
uncomfortable. And I especially, I am always not comfortable standing up for my rights. I am a very, very submissive, non-confrontational person.
Well, it might be. It will be uncomfortable for
Yes.
you, but what you really need to do is make it uncomfortable for the opposition.
Right. And yes, exactly. Exactly. You need, like, what we need to do is scream louder.
Disruptions
and disrupt and whatever, by, like, you know, keep yourself safe and your family safe, you know, be about your business, but also fucking protect your rights. We need to protect our rights here. And I don't want to go too far off of this subject, but I did want to say really, really badly that we need to fucking we need to all figure out how we need to be louder, whether it's marching, voting. It is all those things. And we need to fucking scream it out, because this is not, it can't stand. And go ahead.
And with that, midterm elections are coming up, so make sure you're registered to vote.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Register, fucking please be out there. This is not like other people will show up time. It's not, because I promise you, like, you're affected, and we're strong, man. We are strong, and we're stronger than this. And we're like, we'll win. It's just going to be, I think it's going to be a long fight, you know, and working in weed and stuff has also taught me that, just to try to bring it back to weed a little bit, but please don't remember to know your rights. So two things. One, employers are now kind of trying to, like, figure out how to work in this with their drug policies that are existing, right? Like, they're trying to figure out what to do when your employees want to smoke weed. Is it don't ask and we will figure it out? Is it if we notice you're notably high, we have to do something? Police in New Jersey are straight up, like, banned from the substance. Like, is that what's going on?
Well, yeah. New Jersey lawmakers filed a bill to restrict marijuana use by the police and other workers, probably, you know, city workers or federal workers. I mean, I don't know, state workers. But you know, why can't the police use? They were all hyped and said that the police in New Jersey can use cannabis.
They
on
walked
their
it
own,
back.
On their
They
own.
walked it back very quickly.
Very quickly, and now there's actually a measure in play in New Jersey that would prohibit law enforcement from consuming cannabis on their own time.
That's fucked
in
up.
their own bodies.
That's so fucked up.
That's
really you telling
is.
your employees you do not trust them. And that is also pushing a false narrative about weed. Like, what do you think you're fucking, and we've talked about this on many Huffs and Puffs, but what do you think is going to happen here? You know, like, on their off time, they're going to get so high, they're going to take out their gun. You know, like, I bet that's what they think. You know what I'm saying? Like, I bet that's what lawmakers think.
The cops are just going to get high on their off time and start shooting in the air
and
or something stupid.
like fucking The Simpsons, Rich Texan.
Oh, yeah. Yosemite Sam and
exactly. Like, what are these people on? So that's so fucked up, and it makes me sad for New Jersey cops. It makes me sad for New Jersey because it's a fucking huge step backward. You fucking morons.
But why are we restricting a substance that is legal, from people and certain people? It doesn't make any sense. But you know, even HR departments are struggling with this all over the place. Even in, like, not, I don't know what, I guess police would be high stress
yeah, well,
job.
like Con Ed, you know what I mean? Like, other, you know, there's like regular companies that are just trying to figure out. I believe Con Ed, that's just because, like, I get New York alerts. I think they decided to go, like, just don't do it on the job, man. That's all I ask.
Don't ask, don't tell, and they're not going to test for it anymore.
No, that was the big thing. So in the article, like, that we were reading, that was, like, talking about how HR departments are starting to handle this. They're kind of like, be upfront with your employees. It's advice for the employer, basically. And be upfront. If you're going to do random drug tests, you gotta obviously let them know up front. Or if you're going to drug test at all, you have to let them know up front. And one goes with the other. If you're going to be cool about them smoking, you can't drug test. Like, it doesn't make sense. And it also breaks, they're saying, like, the workforce is so rough nowadays. Like, it's hard to find able workers that, like, a lot of companies are kind of foregoing their traditional, like, views on weed.
Their traditional screening methods.
Because so many people consume, especially if you're in a legal state. Like, it's bizarre for you to think that it's not around your employee. That's fucking stupid. Like, why?
18 states have recreational adult use cannabis.
Yeah, it's almost half.
So we're getting there.
Slowly but surely.
We've got like 32 have some sort of, maybe 33.
Have
some sort of medical or adult use.
And there's still states where
CBD.
It's extremely banned. And surprise, those are pretty conservative. And we're talking extremely banned as in, like, people are still.
One of the things that really, really gets me on drug testing is that the test for cannabis is the least expensive of all of the tests. So that's like, it was the most readily available and the one that was done the most. Also, the substance that stays in your system the longest is cannabis. It could be there for up to a month.
Forever. Yeah.
And it's a long time. And everything else you might want to do is just going to speed on through your system.
Right.
And, and a lot of times they don't even test for those things.
No.
They'll just test you for...
They're just testing you for weed.
For weed. And it's the... It's the least expensive test.
They're talking about also truck drivers. Another situation. Like,
we are in, there's a huge, there's a worker shortage. There's a trucker shortage.
Huge. Supply chain is fucking
everywhere.
In the States. If you're listening from not the United States, just know it is fucked here. It's a very crazy time. And,
you notice
truckers are very important to our country. Very important to our country.
Yeah.
They are everything for our country. Not even exaggerating.
There was not one item of your daily life that hasn't been shipped to you on a truck.
And that hasn't been. And when you're driving across the country too, as you and I both know, I mean, there's a respect. There's a mutual on the road thing. Truckers. My therapist's daughter is a trucker. I fucking love truckers. There's a code, and they are very important to our economy, and that's why the rights of people who make our life more comfortable, which could be policemen. in an ideal world, it is not, but it could be. Truckers, yes, make our life easier and better. I believe we should be letting them do as they wish on their off time, especially driving across the country. You're driving into a legal state. You drive through Smokelahoma or whatever. You want to try yourself a little of the locale. You have a couple nights off, and you're hanging out. Like, I think you should be able to do that. So a lot of trucking companies rather, are working with the federal guidelines, which say that Schedule 1 weed is a thing, and we're calling it marijuana, left, down, up, and right. We can't figure out how to say weed or cannabis. Just a side note. It's they can't really take like CBD because they'll test positive, so they can't really do much right now. And a lot of the trucker industry is suffering. And when they test, the drivers test positive and they're like, fine, I'll chuck deuces, and they're going somewhere else and they're not coming back because either they can't or they don't want to stop smoking weed, which I don't fucking blame them. It's an issue.
If you were to lose your commercial driver's license for a dirty drug test, it's going to take some, you're going to have to jump through a lot of legal hoops to actually get your CDL back.
Oh, it's horrible. It's horrible. It's also like hard to get your CDL in the first place. So like and trucking it's important and it should be treated that way. When you are driving a truck, don't be high.
This is true. And
if you are driving a truck, I promise you don't want to be high.
You need to be alert.
Any trucker fucking knows that. You know, give truckers, the people who are literally doing what you don't want to do, give them the benefit of the doubt, just like the cops in New Jersey. We're going to talk about Nevada in 3 minutes, but just like the cops in New Jersey, you don't trust your cops? What are you saying? You don't trust your employees not to smoke on a job when they're using heavy duty machinery when they themselves can die? No stoner will do that. I promise you with my whole fucking heart. First time you try an edible or you smoke weed, you should be in a controlled environment. Then when you know how it works, trust me, you don't want to be driving a tractor.
You don't want to be driving a fucking forklift. That is for sure.
Or a fucking Mac. No, you do not.
No,
you do. You can't. So trust me when I say you lawmakers, you are misunderstanding the cannabis plant. Let these people be. Give them their freedoms. Give them their privacy. Off duty, man. Come the fuck on.
We talk about being in charge of your own body, body autonomy.
Yep.
And it goes along with all of that. Being able, the right to choose what you do with your body and what you put in your body is very important, and it's being taken away from us, from all of us.
That's not cool.
We think that obviously cannabis is making many strides forward, but the country is making strides backwards.
These are
when
bad
it comes
decisions.
To our bodies.
These are bad decisions, and I don't like this, and I hope that we are rounding a corner where we just take it off the scheduling, and we can deal with companies doing their thing. But right now, it's not good. It's not so great. Okay, we're gonna take a quick break, and then we're gonna come back, and we're gonna do the final huff and puff.
The final huff and puff with TS and Sasha.
It's the final huff and puff with TS and Sasha. I apologize. I didn't give you time. I forgot that you even do that.
I got a huge. Oh my God.
Oh man. Oh, these nerds, they are stony. It is the final huff and puff, just like they said on the old radiola. And today, we're huffing and puffing. We're not stoked. We're not, we're stoked about some things. We're not stoked about this. So this is a horrible story.
This is a huge what the fuck.
This is like an older story. This is like a few weeks or a couple weeks old. I don't know how this isn't like huge news.
Yeah, well, it doesn't make any fucking sense.
Okay.
At all.
So,
all right.
Nevada
police are exploiting a cannabis scheduling loophole to make arrests, despite the legalization for adult and medical consumption in the state of Nevada.
What the fuck?
This is weird. This is very strange. So there's a lawsuit being the ACLU is claiming that the state's drug code is unconstitutional because it continues to list cannabis as a Schedule 1 drug.
Okay.
So it is a technicality because they have not changed the state scheduling yet. And that's all they really need to do is to take.
Nevada why?
Nevada has its own state drug schedule.
What the fuck? Do all states have that?
Probably because
I guess that would make sense. You sound like idiots.
Yeah, they do because each when cannabis was illegal, it became decriminalized.
Right, sure.
And then they took it off, but it's under the State Board of Pharmacy.
Yeah. Okay.
So under the State Pharmacy, the Board of Pharmacy, cannabis is a Schedule 1 drug still.
That's why would it still be a Schedule 1? How would it still be classified that?
They didn't change this, and for some fucking reason, the Nevada police are using it to prosecute people for intent to sell.
That's crazy.
So if you are in Nevada with a larger amount than personal consumption, and you get wrangled up by the local Nevada PD, then you are possibly at risk, depending on.
Holy shit!
That's where you're standing, and
I guess it looks like most states have they have a board of pharmacy. Yeah, that would make sense. I mean, of course they do. I guess I never really thought about it because of the federal thing.
So this, I guess the police can arrest you for whatever the fuck they think you did wrong. And then it's up to an attorney, like the state, like a local DA, to decide whether they're going to prosecute you or not. Wow. So I probably, in most cases, they're not going to be prosecuted, but it's still a fucking hassle,
and it's a bummer.
It's a huge bummer.
No,
yeah.
Like nobody wants that. You want to be free in a state that tells you are allowed to do this. You don't want to be looking over your fucking shoulder or thinking you're carrying too much or not knowing. I mean, Nevada is weird with their weed. Like they did that thing where they they were medicinal for like a minute and a half, and then they like expedited their legalization.
Oh yeah, they did it quickly.
They did it like in 2 months, and that was weird. And also, like, if you're in Vegas now after legalization or after it was like adult use, I mean, it's still, if you're on the Strip, it's still like you can't smoke weed. Like, it's not weed friendly at all.
You don't smell it when you're walking around.
It's not weed friendly. The last time I was there, I was like having a shit time. And I just wound up like, and like, that's the thing. Like, they will tell you at the dispensary at whatever Planet Cloud, whatever it is, the big one. Yeah.
Planet 13.
Yeah. Fish always talks about it.
Yeah.
They have really good weed there. It's huge. It's awesome. But like, they'll tell you at the dispensary, like, don't put this bag in your suitcase. Don't let the hotel see that you have this bag, or they will confiscate it, or you will get arrested.
That's fucking crazy.
I was like, you're goddamn kidding me. Like, I was super pissed. So Nevada definitely.
That's confusing as fuck if you're from out of town.
Which everybody is.
Everybody there is from out of town.
From out of town in Vegas. Like, so it is. It's really daunting.
I can go to Sin City and smoke weed and get prostitutes.
Yeah,
sex workers,
exactly.
And then you go and you try to get all of those things and you get busted.
And then you get busted. Bullshit. That's bullshit. It's bullshit. And Nevada, not cool, man. Not cool on going backwards. That's dumb. And like, it just literally doesn't make sense. So that has to stop. Is it going to stop? Are they saying it's going to stop?
Well, yeah, it's being petitioned right now.
Jeez.
And they're sinking in an injunction to relieve it and change the language.
I would hope so.
Because Nevada's cannabis market is thriving, and is last year reported that it sold more than $1 billion in medical and recreational cannabis.
Wow.
Billion. You're selling this to people came in and spent $1 billion fucking dollars, and then you're gonna get arrested.
You're gonna criminalize
potentially
it?
Get arrested and criminalize cannabis
and
again.
And make these people feel like come on, man. That doesn't kick it. What the hell are you doing?
Sure, Nevada has worse problems to take care of.
For realsies. Like, oh boy, these United States of cannabis. Well, we can only hope for the best. That's our show. Thank you, Adobe Radio, for letting us do this every week, talking about our business, talking about our cannabis state of the world. We're moving forward. We're doing our best. But there's still lots of things to figure out. And that's why we have the show, so we can suss it out and talk about it. Follow us all over the internets. Just Google Cool Nerd Weed Show. Cool Nerd Weed is on Twitter and on the Instagrams and on all the socials. And we will be back next week live. We will not be taking off for a while. So we will see you next week. And
don't panic.
It's organic.
Yeah, we want to thank you so much for being a beautiful audience. Thank you very much. We'll be back real soon. Y'all take care, and remember, unity forever, please.